marketing and branding. And like, you know, when there's this, if the Lakers are winning, everybody's a Laker fan, you know. When they're losing, half the Laker fans are gone. You know, so Democrats are winning, everybody's jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Now the tides are changing. People are like, wait a minute, that was cool and all, but now I'm responsible for stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not so cool anymore. I was like, wait, I gotta pay for it?
I remember when I was in high school, I had a teacher tell me that like most people are liberal when they're young and they vote blue, you know, but she was like, once you hit your 30s, that's when a lot of people start becoming more conservative.
Yeah,
start voting red.
And it's happening.
It's so true, bro.
It's freaking happening, man.
It's so true. I'm kind of like, I don't like to be liberal or conservative. I kind of just, everyone says that, but there's things that Trump does that I like. There's a lot of things I don't like that he did.
You shouldn't be
things that Biden, not really Biden, though he kind of did the best job. But Obama, he was a good Democrat, you know?
I was no party preference for most of my life because I didn't fit a party. I was just like, I've been raised to believe certain things, and those are the things that I believe in. And everybody has different beliefs, and nobody perfectly aligns with what I believe.
Yeah.
You know, so I ended up going to the Republican Party because I had to join one.
Mm-hmm.
When you get in politics, if you're not part of a party, you have no chance. It's like if I want to get a fight career, I got to join a gym.
Yeah,
I can't fight on my own.
No, dude.
Yeah, you know. So you gotta join a good group, and I aligned more with the Republican Party.
Yeah.
So I went all in with them, and then now I'm like totally Republican.
Do you feel like getting into politics has pushed you more into the Republican Party than you probably would have had you not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm like freaking all in. And you know, like since I come from a team sport, I'm like, okay, cool. You guys are my team now? All right, let me freaking help you wherever I can.
Yeah.
You need help with what? You need help with that? All right, let's do it.
Does it feel weird going to like, do you go to like political events, like rallies or anything?
All the time. Dude, I was in a suit like 3 hours ago.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I was gym clothes, suit, gym clothes.
Amazing, dude. But does it feel weird? Because, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, we're still minorities. So like going into like that type of space, I can imagine it's mostly like white people probably pick up trucks or something, you know what I mean?
Predominantly, especially when I go to like the super bougie events. But I've been fortunate to be around enough people in my lifetime where it doesn't really bother me anymore.
Yeah.
I can go to a freaking brand new room with brand new people and just befriend everybody.
Yeah.
But that's a skill that I've learned over the course of my lifetime. Like my skill and my talent, why everybody wants me to be a face of everything is I'm a good communicator and relationship builder and cultivator. Mm-hmm. So I create bonds and relationships, and then I grow them and maintain them. And so that's been my value out of all the projects I've done. Lace and Loop, I was doing fighter outreach. So I would travel around the country and go to fight gyms and get to know all the fighters and the coaches, you know, create great bonds with them, take them out to lunch, if we can hook them up with gear, create content and whatnot. And even to this day, I still have great relationships with them all. You know, and then that spanned to all the other industries I randomly jumped into. So same recipe.
Yeah.
Is it starting already?
It's recording. I mean, I haven't started it. I just keep it going. I just started it.
Okay.
It's kind of just getting. I don't like to just jump into it because then it gets weird. I don't know you. You know.
Oh yeah. I go on the fly all the time.
Yeah. So. But yeah, I was gonna ask you, do you own a pickup truck?
Yes.
Did you buy one when you switched over, or did you already have one?
Wait, switch over to what?
So when you became like a Republican, did you buy a pickup truck?
No, I love trucks. I love cars.
I'm a
huge car guy.
See, he's not a faker. He's a deep down a conservative, you know?
Oh, dude, my truck gets like 8 miles to the gallon.
Oh,
my cars get 10 miles or less of a gallon.
Yeah, you got big cars.
And little ones too. So it's with my wife too. We share cars. We've got a Range Rover that thing gets like 10 miles to the gallon. You know, Raptor, that thing gets 8 miles to the gallon. We got a CLS 55, that thing gets like 11 to the gallon. And then we got a G80 M3 that we just built. And that thing, well, when I drive it, it gets like 10 miles to the gallon. So not very gas efficient at all.
Yeah, no, not a lot. All right, I'm gonna bring you in, all right?
All right, let's do it.
Welcome back to the show, guys. Today, we have a special guest. This man is multiple world champion, you know, the world champion in Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA, Lace and Loop. He's a creator of Lace and Loop. He's recently gotten into politics, which is very interesting. He ran for Irvine City Mayor. I'm not sure. I don't think you got that right.
No, but I ended up becoming Irvine City Commissioner.
Irvine City Commissioner. Please welcome to the mother effing show, Ron Mother effing Scolesdang.
Hi.
Ron Scolesdang, man. Nice to meet you, dude.
Hi.
Dude, I've seen you fight, bro, and I've seen you on like different interviews. I'm always like, damn, that dude's a savage, bro. Bro, the way you fight too, it's like Dude, you have so much power for your size, dude. It's crazy. You look like you hit like a truck, dude.
Yeah, and it's weird too because I look like, somebody told me once and it stuck to me. It's like, dude, you look like they pulled you out of the crowd to go in a fight. Because like I'm not shredded, I'm not buff. I have like total dad bod.
Yeah.
Something happened after I had a kid. Shredding. I mean, not that I was that buff ever, but after I had my kid, for whatever reason, I just have dad bod.
Yeah.
I look like a normal dude. I don't look like a freaking chiseled athlete. It's freaking sucks.
Baby weight.
Yeah,
baby weight.
Like forever baby weight.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just getting older, man. I mean, all those years. I mean, you've been fighting for like, what, 19 years now or something like that, right?
I'm debating. So when I first started, I fought at 125.
Yeah.
So when I fought Brandon Moreno. And then over the years, it went up, it went up, it went up. And then I got up as high as like 154. Funny enough, back then, fights were harder to come by. So my first fight was at IFS. I did the first one in 2010. I did their 155-pound tournament, even though I was a 125er. But there was no fights available at that time. So my coach was like, hey, I think you could do it. I was like, all right, let's do it. And then we ended up winning the whole tournament. And then I became the first IFS champion for MMA. And we ran that. But since then, I've slowly been creeping up in weight. And so I got up as high as like 185 pounds.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
I've never got to 180.
It's the heaviest I've ever been. That was like last month.
That's crazy, dude.
And then now I got to move my way back down to 140 to defend the WCK world title. But I'm contemplating moving up to 155 just so I don't have to cut weight anymore.
Yeah, would they still let you defend the title at that weight? Or?
I'll probably vacate it and then fight for the 155 title, whoever's there.
Yeah.
But my body is different now. Like I can cut the weight, but now it's the recovery. The last few fights since I cut down to 130 or 140, depending on the fight, it's taken me like a month to recover.
Damn.
Whereas back in the day, I would cut and then I'd be fine. I'd be like, all right, cool, back to normal life. But these days, like when I'm done cutting, I'm just like, I feel sick, like I'm gagging, like I'm low on energy. I have like stomach issues. I'm like, fudge. And I'm fairly healthy. I'm fairly healthy too when I need to be. So definitely my body is changing after 21 years of fighting.
Yeah.
So I think I would rather fight someone way bigger than me than fight someone my own size and have to put my body through all that trauma.
Yeah, you're like one of the first people to say that, bro.
What?
I want to fight someone bigger than me. That's like what people say when they first start, like their first fight, because they don't want to cut. You know, they're like, Coach, let me go in at like 150 or something.
I'm at a good spot in my fight career that I have enough experience to get me by, and I have enough natural power to hold my own against bigger guys, so that I can still be competitive. But I think I can do fairly well at 155. Now, if they hit me, I'll probably die. But as long as I keep my defense tight, I think I should be okay.
Yeah. Do you think your style is like changed a little since you're a little bit heavier now?
It didn't change because I got heavier. It changed because I got smarter. Back in the day, because I knew I hit hard, I would just have my hands down by my waist and I would just throw leather
Saw that, man.
hard as I can, just wah, and I would feel that connection of my knuckle touching skull or bone, and it was great because I knew I could get away with it. But then, as I got overly confident, I started just walking towards my opponent, and I remember I got knocked out for the first time by Beto Rodriguez. And I dropped him. I was hammering on him. He was holding on for dear life, and like the whole crowd was going nuts. Like I know it doesn't seem like it, but when I fight, it's quite violent.
The nicest guy like I've ever met, bro.
And so I'm just like, and we have a break in space, and in my head, worst decision ever. I was like, all right, Ron, let's finish this. So I'm like, da, 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 and I walk through, and I blink, and I run right into an overhand, and freaking, I blank out for a second, and I wake up. The ref is hugging me. I'm like, did I just get dropped? He's like, yeah, it's over. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get yelled at so hard. I'm like, fudge. And I was like, whatever, it was a fluke. It'll never happen again. And then I had a chance to fight for the LXF title. And then I fought Albert Morales, super cool dude. And if I beat him, they were gonna give me a shot in the UFC. And then I did the same thing again. I hit him a few times. He was running. I was like, all right, let's walk him down. Let's finish this real quick. I do the same exact thing again. I walk into another overhand, the same exact one that finished me the last time. And then, I do a front roll. Oh, epic finish for him. All the credit to him. He freaking deserved that win.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Watch out for those overhands.
Just freaking be smart. smart next time.
Yeah.
Don't be arrogant. And then same scenario. The ref comes. I'm like, did he just freaking finish me? He's like, he did. I'm like, once again, I'm like, oh, this happened the second time. I'm gonna get yelled at so hard. So ever since that day, it changed everything. I focused on less power. So now I don't hit harder than 30-40% during my fights.
Yeah.
Unless I smell blood, most of my fights is 30-40% effort. So I can go for like 20 rounds, no problem. So everybody thinks I have crazy, I mean, I do have good cardio, but it's also because I don't expend much energy. Like in my last 5 fights, I don't think I broke a sweat.
Damn.
Yeah, it was
Scolesdang, not even a sweat, dude.
Not even a freaking. Well,
That's all the guys you just fought, man. You're sitting there like, what? You didn't break a sweat.
Except for the last dude I fought when I defended my title against the number 1 dude in Mexico. He was freaking tough. Yeah. That one I sweat. We went all 5 rounds. And I think if I didn't knock him out in the last round, I might have lost. It was close. Dude was freaking hungry. And he could take a shot. That was probably the toughest fight I've had in my career. So more power to him. They call him Mr. Puppy Power.
Mr. Puppy Power.
Yeah.
Listen, is that in English or is that?
No, that's his nickname. No, that's his Instagram name.
Interesting. Hey, man, people sleep on those Mexican fighters, but dude, some of those guys are hungry, bro.
Super hungry. The toughest fight I've ever had.
Yeah.
I think every Hispanic fighter I've fought has been freaking tough as nails.
Yeah. The Mexican chin, bro.
It's real. It's freaking real.
Yeah.
I've thrown some freaking bombs in my lifetime, and Brandon Moreno took it. Every other Hispanic took it. I mean, there were some shots. If you guys watched that fight, there were some shots where I hit him, and his head bounced off the canvas like hard, and he freaking survived. It was crazy to see. I was like, this guy's tough. And then he ended up being one of the best fighters of all time. Years later. Yeah. I was like, good on him.
Yeah, you beat him though.
It's okay. Yeah, I beat him. His career did way better in fighting. But my life took a few different paths.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Bro, you're about to be fucking maybe president one day, Ron. 2020 was. 30 maybe.
When I first started training when I was 17, you know, I always wanted to be a world champion, and MMA was my lane at that time, and I wanted to get there. I even had a chance to train with Demetrius Johnson. He invited me over to train me after my fight with Albert Morales, but because I lost, I got my invitation revoked.
Oh,
it blew everything. It was my fault.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been taught that if you follow the game plan and you listen to your coach and you do what you're supposed to, there's no reason why you shouldn't win and you shouldn't succeed. And I've applied that inside of the gym. I've applied that outside of the gym, and it's very, very true. Everything that I've ever wanted in life, everything that I ever want in life, I have a mentor. I have a coach, and if I follow their tutelage, I follow their game plan. I've always gotten what I've wanted. But the times that I didn't, it's because I thought I knew better. You know, so those 2 times I got knocked the F out, it's because I thought I knew better. I was like, I don't need to stick to the game plan. I'm just gonna go knock him out real quick.
Yeah.
And then what happened? I got knocked out instead. Freaking lessons of life. But it took me 2 to realize.
Don't do 3. You don't
so
do
now I'm fighting like this.
Yeah.
No more like this. My hands are up.
Yes, sir. That was when. So you were with was that Oyama or was that when No Limit? Were you with No Limits?
I was now with No Limits.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I came over to Team Oyama in 2010, and I was with them for 10 years until COVID hit. Really, COVID shut down the gym. I ended up becoming the GM for Oyama. You know, I brought them from when I came in because I had a business background. I think instead of going full time into fighting, they were like, "Hey, we need you to get this gym out of its hole." It was in a pretty deep hole. It took me about 7 years to get them out of it, but. And that's really hard to do. I mean, you're in the industry. You know how hard it is to make a gym profitable. And in fact, most gyms are in the red heavily forever. Yeah. You know, and we'll be lucky to have, you know, some well-funded individuals that just love the gym and will help support it. I think that's how a lot of gyms get by. Sponsors, really. Because the business as itself is a horrible business model.
I know. Sad.
Horrible.
How does 24 do it? 24 Fitness, you know?
So that's where our gyms like us fall into trouble. Because we try to follow the 24-hour model. Yeah. But we're not 24. We're a tiny gym. We can't fit a fraction of what 24-hour can fit, and we don't have the bankroll that they have. They can have you sign up for $25 a month, and they can hope that you never, ever come in. you know. But imagine if all those members showed up, there'd be no way for them to fulfill.
1,000 members, easy, bro.
Yeah, but get this, you go to 24 Hour Fitness, you don't go there for 6 months, they make it a hassle for you to cancel. So what is the likelihood of you actually canceling? Not for a long time. So they usually fulfill the whole 1 month contract. For a gym like ours, we sign somebody up for $150, $100, $200 a month. They don't show up for 2 weeks, there's a high chance they're gonna cancel. And on top of that, we can't fit that many people. So like at our space, we had to get creative. We can't even offer unlimited memberships here because we don't have the space. If you sign up here, you can train 3 days a week. That's it.
Damn, that's it.
That's it.
Even your fighters?
For $200 a month. And they can train 3 days a week, you know. But generally, most people 3 days is a good amount, realistically, for them to train, so they can have decent progress.
Yeah.
But when we do that, now we're able to fit double the people. So if we can fit 100 people in here unlimited, but we can fit 200 people in here if we split the week in half. So already we doubled our capacity just by doing that, and that alone has made us profitable. You know, not crazy profitable, like. Enough where we can hire staff and we can give people a career. You know, that's my measure of success. Can I support a staff here and help them with their well-being? And then also the other measure that I have for success in a gym is, are people still here when class is over? You know, classes are busy, that's cool and all, but are they here before class starts? Are they here when class is over? Are they here even when there's no class? That's how I know I have something good, something freaking cool. That I have people coming here visiting and having lunch here on their lunch break because they work like a mile away and they just want to see what we're up to.
Community.
It's freaking everything.
It is.
You know, so that's why I wanted this. I mean, I could have done a billion other things, you know, and I was hesitant to and I was scared to, because old school mentality is, you know, you come from a gym, you're not supposed to open up your own gym. You stay and you die in that gym for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know, so it took a lot. My partners really pushed me and inspired me to open up ŌKA here. They were like, hey, you're going to stop chasing money and start chasing your dreams one time? And I was like, shoot, all right, let's do it, F it. And then 3 months later, we opened up this place. We opened this in 3 months.
That's quick.
Yeah, we did it so fast. Empty warehouse with trash everywhere. We gutted everything, remodeled everything, and then it's what you see today.
Yeah.
And then now we're 1 year later, and we've got a great community of people.
I see you guys all over the IG and stuff. You guys have some cool ass members, man. Everyone seems to love the space, you know, and love where they rest, you know.
Yeah, it's awesome. We work really hard to keep our culture and our community. What up, Aaron?
There's one right there.
Just like that. Yeah, that's everything, you know. Like, it's not just me. It's not just my partners and owners. It's our management. It's our staff. It's our admin. Everybody knows everybody by name. Knows their story. Knows their strengths. Knows their weaknesses. Knows what programs and classes that they take. That's how deep we go. If they don't show up for a week, we call them, text them, or DM them. So we stay on track with them heavily. Yeah. And at 200 members, we can handle that. More than that,
that's a lot for just being open, you know.
We've been very fortunate, but we also have a very dialed-in team and system in which we do everything. So super blessed. We have a freaking all-star team, and it's weird too. Like we didn't even search for them; they just kind of fell into our hands. It's just like situational. It's like, hey, I'm looking for this. I was like, we're looking for this, and then it's like, let's see if it aligns, and it all aligned, and now we have a freaking superstar team here. We have the best students, we have the best coaches, we have the best staff. Like, I don't mind.
ŌKA number one.
Yeah, ŌKA number one.
Yeah.
Dude, you know, when you have an environment like that, you don't mind being here all day.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy to be here all day and night. Shoot, I'll bring my family in here.
Yeah, just hang out and stuff.
Yeah, my kid runs around. My wife trains here sometimes. So yeah, this is our paradise.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. So you're from Westminster, right?
Born and raised in Westminster. I lived in there most of my life, and the only reason why I left was because I met my wife, April. She pulled me out of Westminster and pulled me into Irvine.
Yeah.
And then now I'm Irvine forever.
So I know Hung, he cornered you for like some of your first fights, right? I think your first 3 fights or something was.
He cornered me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cornered me a whole lot. He cornered me when I won the IFS championship. He cornered me when I fought Brandon Moreno. He cornered me when I had my first pro Muay Thai fight, my first pro MMA fight. He cornered me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you know him from Westminster? Because he's from Westminster too.
No.
Oh,
I was.
Crazy.
I was what they refer to as a whitewashed Asian.
Dude, I get that too. I get that
My parents didn't want me to go to Westminster High School because it was supposed to be the gang school. So they got me over to Marina.
Oh, you ended up nice school.
Nicer, but then I left the gang school. I avoided a gang school and ended up going to like an all-white druggie school. But luckily, drugs were never really my thing, and so I was never really attracted to that. But yeah, so I was raised around a bunch of white people. Even in that high school, there's an Asian clique in there, but I hung out with all the white people instead. Yeah, because I hung out with the football team.
You had a future. He's like hanging out with these gang members over here.
Funny enough, a lot of the Asians from Marina High School are really successful entrepreneurs now.
Oh yeah,
yeah, opening up key concepts, a bunch of restaurants, businesses, stuff like that, and they're just freaking super successful in Orange County. Yeah. So really, really happy to see a lot of my old classmates killing it in their own way.
Yeah, I asked because I'm from Westminster too, partially. Well, my dad's always lived there, but I didn't live with him. But he's always had a house there since I was a kid. And my generation was a little bit after like years in Hung, so that's when they started cleaning it up, bro. But dude, there's buildings that still have bullet holes from like the past.
I was in Westminster a lot. We were in the generation where we played outside until dark.
Yeah, the good generation, the last good generation.
The fun one.
That's why we're awesome.
Yeah, I didn't meet Hung in Alpine. I don't know if you remember Alpine until I met Yama, and that's when I truly got introduced to Vietnamese culture. Yeah. I was whitewashed until then. My parents did not want me to be Vietnamese at all.
That's sad though. You gotta enjoy your culture, man.
Yeah, because they immigrated over here. They're like, no, we need you to be American. We need you to
fit in,
live your dreams, be a doctor or a lawyer. Yeah. And then I became a cage fighter.
Yeah, dude, because Hung and Bao was from Westminster too, I believe, right?
Yep.
I saw that they were on the news there's some type of gang. I think it was like a fight gang or something. But they called it like a street gang. But they showed me, Hung showed me a video, and it was, I believe it was Bao full mounted on some other dude beating the crap out of him in some party or something. And they're like, yeah, these new gang members tearing up Westminster, bro. I'm just curious if you were a part of all that, because you're so nice too. So I was like, that would have blown my mind.
I've never really gotten to street fights, so most of my violence has been in the ring. Yeah. Funny enough.
And then for it.
Yeah, and then as a what am I? This whole fighting thing is weird. I found my lane in fighting, and I just stuck with it. All my violence has been in fighting, and because of that, it makes me completely unviolent outside of the ring. Yeah, like nothing makes me angry. Like it's very hard to anger me, and whatever tension or stress or anger I may have is gone by the time I hit stuff. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I tried retiring a couple of times, and I didn't like it. First time I was like, all right, I got to focus on providing for my family. It's a very common scenario. I got to give up the things I enjoy for the things that I have to do.
Things you love.
Yeah.
For the people you love, yo.
Yeah, I got to give the things I love for the people that I love more.
That's deep, bro. Freaking you should put that on an okay fucking t-shirt, bro.
What? But it made me so sad inside. I was like, I had no outlet because I don't do anything. I barely drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't travel. I just work. And so.
You just want to work and hit people.
Hit people. That's my vice.
Yeah, I think that fighters are the opposite of how people perceive them. They're like the least violent people, you know what I mean? Because they get it all out at the gym for the most part, and most of them have some type of like moral compass because of martial arts. If you're going to a good gym,
you're taught better.
Yeah, your coach is teaching you
a higher standard.
Yeah, and it's
I would never intentionally hurt someone. Hey, Coach Marshall, you guys.
What's up, guys? Coach Marshall. I think I know them, but I'm just anyway. You said it.
I'm good. Shoot. Oh, shit, I gotta introduce. That's right. I always forget. Everybody comes here. I feel like everybody's already been here.
Yeah. This is my first time, but hopefully I can take a class one day, dude.
Tell me what. You're always welcome here.
I'd love to do it today, but I don't know. My foot's kind of. We'll see.
Jacked up.
Man, new people.
Elbows.
Yeah. Happens. Yeah, man. So. You fought Brandon Moreno, right? That's probably the fight that I think most people will recognize you by,
Yeah, it's my most notable victory.
Yeah. He's a big name, bro.
He's one of the best flyweights of all time.
Yeah. So, what was that like? At that time, was he who he is today? I don't even think he was in the UFC yet, right?
No, him and I were at the same level. We were just up and comers.
Pandemonium, I believe.
Yeah, good memory.
Yeah.
Pandemonium with Roy Engelbert.
Roy Engelbert.
No. It's somebody else. Shoot, who was it? Was it Roy? No, it was somebody else. I freaking forgot. My apologies.
Sorry.
It was so long ago. No, we were both up and comers, but I was at the time, there was buzz going around that was just like this young kid with heavy hands. And then he got a lot of buzz. He was this kid that was like super slick at jiu-jitsu. He was like subbing everybody. He was like the next big grappling MMA star. And then I was the next WEC guy. And then we fought, beat him, and then we went on our own routes. He got in the UFC, got kicked out, came back, became world champion, then ultimately became one of the best flyweights of all time in UFC, which was great.
Just got a dub last weekend.
Yes, he did. Congrats, sir.
Yes, sir.
And then what was cool though, we ended up linking back up years later, because he's with a Radio Sports Agency, and I work with them too as well. And because I started Lace and Loop, it kind of blew up. And of course, most fighters that train well like lace-up gloves. So we ended up sponsoring him before he got to the UFC. And I was like, hey, what's up, man? When he was in LFA. So I sponsored him, supported his camp and stuff like that. This was before he got back in the UFC, right? It was like, no, dude, you're cool peoples. Let's support you. And he ended up, becoming the champion of that promotion, and then became champion of the UFC, and then carried us through his UFC career. And talk about he didn't need to. He could have charged us freaking $1 bajillion for becoming the best flyweights in the world, but because we supported him so early on, he was happy to support us later in his career when he got bigger. And I was like, dude, thank you, man. Thank you so much. So definitely a testament to how freaking cool that dude is, supporting us even though we couldn't afford him anymore because now he's a huge superstar.
Yeah. That's a lesson right there in like loyalty, dude, you know what I mean? And just treating people good, you know what I mean? Especially in this industry, bro. Like honestly, your word is bond here because bro, a lot of people just fuck people over when it comes to stuff like this,
It's not just fighting, it's every industry.
Very true.
After COVID hit, I dipped into a ton of different industries and I got burned in all of them.
Towing, bro, that was during COVID, right? Is that when you started that?
Towing, we had the Lace and Loop, opened up a cryotherapy salon.
Oh, how was that?
That was tough because by the time I opened up, it was already being offered at like UFC gyms and everywhere. So it was like, no one's gonna go out of their way just to do cryotherapy only at my place when they can do it at any other gym and work out at the same time. So it was a tough time for that. What else did I open? I opened up an exotic fish and pet coral store.
I did want to ask you about how's that doing? Reef, right? It's called Reef or
the Reef.
The Reef.
It was wonderful, but we didn't. We shut it down. Management we put in place wasn't a good fit, and I can't run it. I can build it, but if I don't have a dedicated person to run it, I can't personally do it because my bread and butter is fighting.
What'd you do with the giant tank? Did you have like a?
It's still in there now. It's the landlord's personal aquarium.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, $250,000 build out. It looked beautiful. It was like the Apple store of fish stores.
Did you ever put stuff in there?
Oh yeah, we had some sick clients. Jason Derulo bought a bunch of sharks from us, and then we had to house the sharks as he was building his aquarium at his house up in the freaking hills. So that was a pretty cool client.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had all kinds of endangered sharks that we were able to legally house.
Turtles.
Sea turtles.
You can't get turtles when they're too small, I think. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is, but that's what someone told me,
Oh yeah, no turtles. We had octopuses, sharks in our tank, all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, sharks were dope. They were dope. As long as they're not for sale, we can safely house them. So there was that, and then we did some sushi pop-ups. That was cool. So pretty much we were just having fun, just going wide, opening a bunch of stuff. And then out of that towing company, I opened up a bunch of the other towing companies too. So that was fun.
Shout out KO Towing.
KO Towing.
Yeah, is it KO? Is that
KO Towing Recovery.
KO.
Yeah, knockout Towing.
Yeah,
and the logos.
You guys are
is
in
a double flex.
Santa Ana, I believe. Is that where you're towing?
Yeah, we're everywhere. We're everywhere now. We're Santa Ana. We're in Lake Forest. We're in Brea. What up, Wes? This is Mo.
I think you. Hi. Your people are tight, dude. They're still so happy.
Yeah, dude, everybody's. Yeah, most of us, we work all day long, right? And then when we come here, we could easily come here and escape, let off steam, or we can go home and do nothing. So when people come in, they come here to let off steam. They don't have to come here. They come here because they want to be happier.
Yeah.
So we're happy to fulfill that for them.
dude, at this point, I feel like I have to go to the gym. You know what I mean? Even if I'm not going to work out, maybe I'll do a lift or two, but I just show up, say what's up to everyone, check on things real quick, and then dip out, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
You know, there's some people that are like, I had a tough day, so I just came in, wanted to say hi. I wanted a hug.
Yeah.
Come here. Boom,
true,
give you a hug.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, man. Opening a door for somebody, freaking giving them a hug, high five, or just simple as a smile or a wave can literally like just change somebody's day.
No, for sure, dude.
It's crazy how much impact we can
Especially
have.
for guys, man.
Yeah.
We don't really like talk to people about. But your coach, though, it's a lot easier to open up to my coach than it is to some of my friends, bro. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is, dude. I feel like it's the father figure type thing, I guess. I don't know. You know?
It's just you know, guys are supposed to be tough and not share anything like that and whatnot. But we struggle with everything internally.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how we're made or how we're raised.
I feel like we're supposed to do it. In some sense, you know? You can't be crying about everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Come
you
on,
gotta
man.
be masculine, right?
Dude, yo. I saw this thing where someone said that the second your girl cries, it's done. She'll never respect you again, you know? I don't know how true it is, but I try not to cry in front of my girls.
It's tough. There are some moments where tears are appropriate, you know? Like massive loss or whatever it may be, even massive struggle. You know, there are some points where I've shed some tears. I've maybe cried a handful of times in front of my wife. And in front of my kid too, and those were in tough times. The fight life, entrepreneur life, it's all tough. The highs are high, but the lows are really, really low. I mean, in the course of our lives, we've almost lost everything quite a few times. You know, and so imagine being on the brink of just losing everything, having negative accounts. It's a scary place to be. What's up, Michael? What's up, everybody? Oh snap, we're back. What's up, guys?
Hi, everyone.
Yes.
It's a bandana. Oh, I like that, dude. Headband.
Yeah.
Sick with it.
Let me get somebody.
Oh, he likes fishing. Dude, that's very, you know, for not being very Vietnamese, opening up a fish store was very Vietnamese, dude.
It was random opportunities. Let me go grab somebody real quick to help at the front desk, and I'll be right back.
Take your time. Is your wife Vietnamese?
No, she's Filipino.
Filipino? Okay, so is she like involved with her culture?
Yeah, she's pretty Filipino. I mean, I got introduced to Filipino culture and food because of her. So literally every time her mom visits or we visit her family, it's all Filipino food.
Lumpias, bro.
Lumpias all
Spaghetti.
day. Pancit all day. Yeah, spaghetti all day. Every dish you can think of.
Yeah.
You can walk through this one. Yeah. We got like 3 cameras.
Yeah, I have to know. Do you feel like your kids kind of being raised to be more cultural with this Filipino side because of that?
A little bit of both. Well, it's funny. It's so we teach him Vietnamese culture and Filipino culture, and he's also learned Mexican culture too. Because we have a nanny, and she spends a lot of time with her. So he's literally speaking more Spanish than he can Vietnamnise or Tagalog.
Wow.
I'm like, fudge.
That's crazy.
I'm like, our kid is speaking Mexican.
Yeah. That's the nothing wrong with that, bro. I love Mexicans, baby.
Shoot, it'll be easier for him to communicate.
Here in Southern California, for
Southern
sure.
California, so definitely have much more value.
Yeah.
To learn to know Spanish. So it's cool. So he's very culturally diverse. Our nanny has become a part of our family. I like because there's a part Mexican.
You can throw that out there. Tagalog's got a lot of similar words to Spanish, actually.
Yeah.
So I think picking that up is a lot easier than Vietnamese. I think for me, I don't speak any Vietnamese. I speak Spanish, so I don't know Spanish.
I got both. I've been fortunate. My parents force-fed Vietnamese into me when I was younger, and then I learned Spanish. They're just all my friends that spoke Spanish, and then Tagalog I only know food dishes.
Yeah. Well, so you said earlier that when you grew up, you were pretty whitewashed. Did you ever feel like some type of way about that? Like, I'm sure like you understood that you didn't hang out with a lot of people that looked like you.
It wasn't that I chose it. Kind of just like fell into that lane because I wanted to join a community, and I joined the football team. Yeah. And then so that kind of just pulled me all the way into that culture. Mm-hmm. And so I lived and slept and breathed all of that. Yeah. So it was school all morning and then football at night, and then right after that, just hang out with the football team. So it was kind of just my whole life. I didn't really have a chance to meet everybody. So it was kind of just how it turned out. But as I get older, I get closer and closer to my roots, which is pretty cool. And then I also get closer and closer to my parents and my family, which is awesome. Because as a kid, I was almost embarrassed to be Asian. And I was like, no, that's not me. I'm American, And then as I get older, I'm much more proud of my roots. Yeah, which is really cool. Now that I understand it more, and now I'm trying to teach culture to the younger generation. There's a period where we kind of lost it, right? There's this gap where everybody completely lost their cultural roots. but me and a bunch of other people in the also Little Saigon area have gotten together to push more cultural education for our younger generation, and it's freaking working, which is dope.
Being Asian's cool right now.
Yeah, it's become a freaking thing.
K-pop and anime.
Yeah, but even in Vietnamese culture, we've been pushing it hard. With guys from this company called Little Saigon, and then some restaurateurs like Cafe Artist, like all these OG businesses and brands. And then Horde Tran from My Tattoo. We all came together to help push more Vietnamese culture in the local Vietnamese areas. So it's been really cool to see people be more proud of their culture.
Yeah, I asked that because I'm biracial and I was raised with my mom, you know what I mean? So I'm a first generation, so growing up, I wouldn't hate being Vietnamese, but I didn't know Vietnamese people. I grew up in the Mexican neighborhood, you know? So low-key, I was kind of like, damn, life would be so much easier if I was full Mexican, you know? Because I was constantly getting bullied for being Vietnamese, dude, in my neighborhood, bro. I was always getting in like fights and shit with people. So when you told me that, I was like, dude, you probably felt like how I felt.
I was fortunate. My parents put me in a bubble, so I was never really in any danger or anything like that. I was oblivious to the real world.
Yeah.
So literally it wasn't until I started training, started fighting, I started experiencing like actual life outside of my bubble. Like I ran into criminals, lawyers, doctors, physicists, freaking everybody you can think of, janitors, students, freaking people on house arrest, like everything in between.
Yeah.
It was a good eye opener. Changed my life for sure.
Yeah, same. As I get older too, I started kind of becoming more proud of being Vietnamese. I took a trip with my dad to Vietnam a few years ago, and that kind of really got me into it, you know. I actually am talking to this professor who wrote a book on the Vietnam War. I want to get him on the podcast sometime soon. What's his name? It's something Pierre, dude, some French name, but he wrote a fucking crazy book about the Vietnam War, and I want to get him on, you know.
Oh, heck yeah. Shoot, I went to Vietnam quite a few times, and I went to the Vietnam War Memorial, and it's crazy to think like the perspective of other countries having of us, you know. So like for us over here, we're always supposed to be the hero, right? We're helping everybody else out. And I go to this Vietnam War Memorial, and they are just making Americans look horrible.
Yeah.
Like they had pictures of like military guys holding up like dismembered babies and laughing.
Yeah, there's
like
all that.
Babies in like in freaking jars and stuff like that from all the Agent Orange. I'm like, oh man. And then my family out there is like, what did they call me? They called me freaking white devil or something like that in Vietnamese.
Well, my family's from the South, bro, so they wanted this side to win, the American side, but obviously the North won, and you know, history is written by the victor. So obviously, I feel like they're gonna write more negative things about the U.S. and France, and then be more positive about Russia and China and stuff, because they're the ones that backed the communist regime, you know. But you know what's actually fascinating? When I went to Vietnam, I didn't realize that Vietnamese people don't like Cambodians, because one of my best friends is Cambodian.
I did not know that either.
They don't like each other. They fought a war with each other, bro. But when I went out there, I saw this. When the Khmer regime came from Cambodia to Vietnam, there was like the first battle that happened. It's like memorialized, and I walked by it.
Baton Rouge?
Khmer Rouge. Khmer Rouge, yeah. So I remember I was in some mountain, and I saw the little memorial, and I was like, yo, what happened here? So a dude explained it about how they came, and just the words he was using, I could tell he did not like Cambodians, you know? Oh. So I talked to my uncle about it, and he's all like, your best friend's Cambodian? I was like, yeah. He's like, you trust him? I was like, dude, he's like one of my best friends. Of course I trust my boy, you know what I mean? But then I came back home, and I realized, I was like, damn, Asians don't fucking like each other, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There's still that old school mentality where there's a lot of internal hate amongst each other.
Yeah.
But that's why we're here. We're trying to bind everybody together.
It's not the same in America, bro. I feel like in America, everyone's kind of clicked in with each other. Like Koreans, Vietnamese, Japanese, we're kind of like minorities from just Asia.
Yeah,
you know?
our culture, we don't really care. We're just like, yo, come join the crew. And that's why a place like this is so cool, because it's a huge melting pot.
Yeah.
Like we literally have every race, every religion, every background. Like it's insane. Like 90% of my network has been from fighting. And like I got a freaking crazy network, and I owe everything to freaking fighting. Like 90% of everything in my life came from fighting. So freaking everybody needs to fight.
No, I think every parent should put their kid in martial arts, because it's like, it's not even for the physical aspect of like learning how to fight and defend yourself, but I think more so for the spiritual and mindset reason, the commitment to doing
structure,
craft, you know?
the discipline, the respect,
Yeah.
everything. You know, like I literally treat everything like a fight. business, my relationship. I have my coaches. I have my playbook.
Camp.
I have my camp, and then I execute.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as I follow the directions, I should get desired result.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the cool part that takes the pressure off of me. I have people that I confide in and that are my mentors and our coaches. And if I follow their instructions and I get it, cool. Now, if I follow the instructions and I don't get it, it's not my fault. It's their fault. I put it on them because they led me wrong. You know, but it's not very often that happens. For the most part, we don't get what we want because we didn't follow a game plan. You know, and so I've been living my whole life with that framework, and it's been working perfectly to the T. All my losses have resulted because of me, not because of anybody else.
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't follow the game plan every single time. You know, but when I do, I've won every single time.
Yeah.
There's never once I didn't follow the game plan and didn't get the desired result. You know, easier said than done, of course, but a simple strategy to follow. But that piece of mindset, I think, is a big changer. The fact that the pressure is off because if you follow the game plan, there's no reason why you shouldn't succeed.
Yeah.
I think that's the huge thing that makes everything okay.
Yeah. Very true, very true. So, so you earlier you were telling me that you didn't get Irvine mayor, but you did get you said you got
Irvine commissioner.
What is the Irvine commissioner?
So we look at the hierarchy of local government, right? We have the mayor and the city council, which decides on essentially anything and everything that happens in your city, and then there's so much stuff going on that the city council can't oversee everything, so they appoint commissioners to oversee certain segments of the city. And so I'm one of those. I'm a commissioner of public works and sustainability. So I oversee public works. So any type of construction, repair, or maintenance of city projects, roads, lights, buildings that have to do with the city, libraries, senior centers, stuff like that. I oversee that. Charging stations for parks. I oversee that, and then sustainability. I'm in charge of making sure that our city is green and environmentally friendly in a proficient manner. So I oversee all that stuff.
How do you make decisions based off that? Do you have like someone that's giving you the data, or do you just kind of figure it out on your own?
So for the city, we have a staff of 22 under the Public Works and Sustainability staff. So they work under Irvine, and they provide all the research and the reports and stuff like they need, and then they give the recommendations, and then we make the final call. Yeah.
Is that like the same, the public works, is that the people that do community service too?
No, so that's a community service. And so there's another commission that we call community service, and that happens to do with community outreach and building together and events and stuff like that. For me, it's more on the building, repair, maintenance, and sustainability side. So is our city polluting more than it's not? Is it heading in a direction that's more efficient for our world for decades or centuries to come? Stuff like that.
How's Irvine doing with its efficiency, in your opinion?
More than most cities, but it's tough. For me, you know, I'm not on the extreme side of sustainability, and I'm not on the opposite side either, where I don't care about it. I care about it, but I care about it in a way where it doesn't negatively affect the lives of our current residents and those that come and visit us. You know, so if we go on the extreme sides, like we need to stop all gas cars now and drive only electric, you know, or everybody must walk or ride bicycles.
Yeah.
Too extreme. It's going to negatively affect the lives of the people in our city. So for me as moderator, it's like, are we making the proper steps to waste less energy, have less toxic waste or fumes in the air and whatnot, while still maintaining a good quality of life? So for me, it's end goal, which is sustainability, but also maintaining a good lifestyle for our residents. I'm the middle guy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find moderation.
Yeah, you got to, because it's like you want to continue to grow your city and to do bigger things, but at the same time, it's like you have to take into account like how that's going to affect your residents.
Yeah. What about everyone else?
Yeah.
You know, we can't be focused on just one topic, one subject matter. It's a disservice to everybody else that has dedicated or invested their whole lives to live here.
Yeah.
And we have 330,000 residents. Can you imagine if we banned gas stoves for everybody?
Yeah.
It's like you have to switch to electric and we have to pay out of pocket for it.
Yeah.
Not just residents, but restaurants too.
Oh, yeah.
And businesses. Like that's a big deal.
That might bankrupt some small businesses.
So in the pursuit of trying to make the world more sustainable, you've ended livelihoods of others, and we don't want that.
Yeah.
So that's my job.
Yeah, I feel like today, bro, it's like everything's so extreme with depending on whatever side you're on. There's no one meets in the middle anymore. I saw something like with the '90s, I forgot what, but it was like they were voting on something, and it just seemed like the Democratic Party and the Republican Party just had an easier time like voting for things together. You know what I mean?
Back in the day.
Yeah. So I don't understand like what happened. Like at what point did the switch happen? You know what I mean?
Fudge, I don't even know. Like, strangely and funny, I wasn't really into politics ever until like a little over a year ago, until I ran for mayor.
Yeah.
I went from not interested at all to trying to be leader of a whole city, one of the most prominent cities in the country, and almost freaking won.
What was the catalyst for that? You just woke up one day, or did you see something?
No, I mean, I've been doing community service most of my life. Martial arts introduced me to community service. I found not too long ago my purpose in life, which is to enrich the lives of others through my vessel, which was martial arts. And so, about 5-6 years ago, I founded a nonprofit organization called Seniors Fight Back, and we provided self-defense workshops and resources to the elderly and beyond. And we were doing that, and because COVID hit, there was a whole anti-elderly, anti-Asian thing going on.
Stop Asian hate.
Remember that?
Was that you, Ron? Did you do that Stop Asian Hate slogan?
Yeah.
You created that?
That was part of it, yeah.
Oh, okay,
that was part of it, yeah.
Dang.
It was a big old coalition. A bunch of prominent groups came together to help push that.
Just give them guns, man.
Yeah, there were some groups that are much more violent than others.
Yeah.
We were on the very non-violent group.
Oh, okay.
Just teaching self-defense tools for our elderly and API community or Asian community, and
Oh, API, you said that like a politician.
Yeah,
API,
yeah,
bro, Asian Pacific Islanders, right? Or
Asian. It was very
what is it?
politically correct. Asian American Pacific Islanders.
Okay, that's,
I say Asian. It's easier.
I just say Asian people, but that's how they say it now. You gotta speak how the kids speak,
API is the popular term, the politically correct term. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
During that time, it was so hot in the media, so every politician was like piggybacking on our wave. And 90% of the politicians are exactly what you'd think. Like,
liars,
cheaters, scumbags, trying to cheat the system, in there for self-interest. But there was 10% out there that were like me, trying to help out and make the world a better place. And I found they educated me like, hey, look how much of a difference you're making now. You can make an even bigger difference in government, local, state, federal. Imagine how much more change you could make if you just changed the way that the world worked, instead of trying to change around the world or change people in the world. Why don't you change how the world works? And I was like, oh, shoot.
Sounds so big.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. Nobody ever planted that seed in my head before.
Yeah.
So we had this gentleman named James Mai and Philip Chen. They were already politicians. One was assembly member. The other one was actually in community service, just like me. He was big on feeding the hungry. So he did huge initiatives on making sure people were fed across our communities. And for me, I want to make sure people were protected. We got together, and then he later became Vice Mayor of Irvine.
Oh wow!
To this day,
he moved up.
Yeah, he moved up really quick, and his genuine motives really paid off. And now he's making impact. He's changing things for the better. It's so freaking cool. And then Assemblymember Philip Chen, he's been Assembly member forever, unopposed. Even people ran against him. Everybody already knows his name, knows he does good. He's the dude that literally tries to help no matter what. And so I really gravitated towards those guys. They became my political mentors, and they're like, hey, we think you'd be a good fit for politics. You could really make even more change than you are now. And so I was like, you know what, perhaps. And then, I'm like doing my regular business stuff. And then another group reaches out to me and is like, hey, have you thought about doing politics? I think you'd be a good fit. I'm like, it's freaking weird. I just have like two other people.
The Matrix.
Yeah. And I was like, and then I'm extreme with everything. So, for fighting, you want to be a champion. It took me 20 years, but finally I did it. I became one, or at least a world champion. And the same thing happened in politics. I went down a rabbit hole and I was like, all right, let me call some people. Hello. All right, shoot. I think we can make this happen. Let me assemble a team. Assembled a team, and then sure enough, 30 days later, I had a political team. We did a 6-month political campaign, which usually should take 2 years, and then we ended up in 3rd place out of 7 candidates. And all the candidates have been in politics for 7 to 40 years. So I went against some freaking seasoned vets. And
black belts.
Yeah, some black belts. Me, a freaking white belt, thinks he can become leader of a whole city with zero experience in politics. Almost did it. almost
Trump
freaking
did it. You know, his first term
almost
did it. You know.
So we were very, very close. But even not winning, I was still able to generate a lot of name ID, and now I'm still very, very active in our local community, helping push a lot of underobserved groups, underserved groups, and a lot of things that aren't being pushed because people don't know where to go or who to talk to. So I'm that guy. If you have something wrong with your community or your city and you don't know who to go to or what to do, I'm the guy they are going to now. Like, Ron, this is what's happening. Ron, there's a homeless shelter, and it's not that there's anything wrong with the homeless shelter. I found out there's $50 million being pushed into this, but there's no program in place. I was like, isn't that weird? I'm like, you're right, that is weird. Why would we buy the building first, put $50 million into it or $20 million into it and not have a program in place yet? We're gonna buy first and plan later? That doesn't sound about right. Mm-hmm. So we dug into it. I connected with a bunch of people that lived and owned stuff in the area, and then we ended up stopping the initiative. At least I was part of it, which was really, really cool.
Sounds like 50 million was put towards the project, but only 25 million.
I don't know. I wasn't able to get that much insight, but I do know that there was huge community concern, and so I linked up with a bunch of people from the community. We made a huge push, and we were able to stop it, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
So stuff like that I live for. That bigger impact I was talking about, I was like, fudge, we just saved, and it was gonna be right down the street from here too, Mm-hmm. But there were so many other ways to go about it, more efficient ways.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's not that the shelter was the problem. It wasn't the shelter. It was how it was set up.
Yeah.
And where's that funding? Like, why that amount of funding?
Yeah.
Why do we need to own that whole property?
Yeah, I was listening to a reporter talk about how she was following when LA, how they were supposed to be like, there's all this money put in for the homeless.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other.
That was a crazy story. I wish I could remember the reporter's name, but that was a crazy story on how like they were basically, politicians were putting the money to some company that was a shell company, and what was basically made was basically like a third of what that was actually spent. That was crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's hot mess over there. I'm proud to say Irvine's running pretty clean for the most part. Mm-hmm. Of course, you can always do better, right? And that's why I'm trying to help as much as I can. But for the most part, Irvine's setting the precedent for a lot of other cities to follow, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. What's the homeless situation here in Irvine? I don't feel like it's that bad, right? Compared to like Santa Ana?
No, not at all. Yeah, but it's growing. Crime is growing, homelessness is growing, but it's happening overall as a country, right? Some more than others, but yeah, Irvine's population is fairly low, but it's alarming because it's growing. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, it's not cheap to live here. Like, the starting home is like $1.4 million per condo. Mm-hmm. So it's a little rough to live here. So when you pay that amount, you expect a certain quality of life. You have certain expectations. And so residents are very alarmed when they see a number go up like 0.25% or a whole percent or something like that. And so it's the balance, give and take, balance of life. Yeah, what we can do.
Do you have a plan in place for that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is, a lot of people are pushing for housing, but that doesn't really solve it because I actually went out and surveyed the homeless. I did this thing called, I forget what it was called, but I went out from 3 a.m. until like 10 a.m. and I went out and drove around and I just started surveying the homeless, asking them, was like, hey, what's going on, et cetera, how can we help? Asking them questions, and I would give them a gift card in return. Why are you here? Do you want to be here? And I found out a lot of them, a lot of them were drugs, but a lot of them were happy. They didn't want to. As I get deeper and deeper into it, I found that there are a lot of homeless shelters, and what happens is a lot of these homeless people don't even want to be in the shelter. And then on top of that, some of these shelters have operating hours, so you can't even stay overnight, or there's no room, so they're just stuck hanging out outside of the shelter instead, which ends up just filling up the whole area around it. So what they really need is, we need to support them, give them therapy, give them support to get them back on their feet if they want it. Do they want to get a job? Do they want to get their own place, et cetera, and then help them like that. There's a majority of them that kind of just happy where they're at. And building the shelter will not guarantee that they will go to it.
Yeah. What do you do with those people?
we provide them support. The police are really, really nice. So the people that don't want to go anywhere and they like where they're at, of course they'll have to, sometimes they have to kick them out, relocate them and stuff like that. But a lot of times our local PD knows them by name. They have a relationship with them. They check on them, make sure they're okay, everything's good and whatnot, as long as they're not causing any trouble. They go and just survey over. But we don't have a crazy overpopulation of homelessness. In fact, a lot of homeless people, you would think it's not what you think. A lot of homeless people are just living out of their cars with their families.
There's that group of
they're just living out of families, and there's a bunch of kids going to public school in Irvine because it's a good education system, and you would not know that they're homeless.
That's sad.
Right?
That should break my heart
when they're done going to school in Irvine, they go back home to their car in a parking lot of a park, and their families live out of a car or an RV, and when we offer support, some of them have too much pride to ask for it. I'm good. I'm going to do it on my own. It's really, really sad. That was a demographic of homelessness I wasn't aware of until I started surveying the homeless with Irvine PD. That there's a population that just live out of their cars, and they're either stuck there because it's too expensive to live here, or they're commuting so far that they just end up just sleeping in a park a few days out of the week.
Do you feel like maybe in cases like that, a more affordable housing would be more of a benefit?
It is, but once again, it's that balance, right? The state mandates a minimum amount of affordable housing, so there's no choice. Even if you don't want it, you're doing it. The state forces you to build affordable housing. But then there's an initiative to push even more affordable housing. But the problem with being accessible to affordable housing is now you get a different demographic in, and it starts changing, and stereotypically they go in line. As there are more affordable housing, crime goes up at the same time. It's unfortunate, but that's what the stats say. So the more affordable housing there is, generally the more crime there is too as well. That's just it's just stats, unfortunately. But there should be affordable housing for everybody. And then on top of that, now we get into the politics of it. Who gets it? Who gets awarded it? Are people able to work their way around and skip and get ahead of line and stuff like that? We don't know. The line is long. Every property has a percentage designated towards affordable housing, and there's vouchers out there. So it's not like it doesn't exist. It's out there. It's just the bigger issue is people don't know about it, and they aren't properly educated to utilize it. So I wouldn't say there's not enough affordable housing. There's not enough education for affordable housing. And Irvine is a very nice place to live. Of course everybody wants to come here. So if you had your choice between any other city and Irvine, of course you're going to pick Irvine, especially if you can get it for like $200 a month. Everybody's swarming there. And that means the people that are also trying to cheat the system. There are people there that truly are good people and just need a boost to get ahead in life. That's what this program is designed for. But there's also a majority of people out there that are abusing the system. They want to take advantage of what this program was supposed to be meant for, which was for helping others get ahead in life, not helping others take advantage of others in life. And getting freaking free, cheap accommodations so they can spend money elsewhere on other things.
Tattoos is a big one.
Whatever that vice may be, or drugs or whatever it is.
That's another big one too.
Or material things.
Do you think that maybe, and it's kind of sounding kind of classist, maybe elitist, but maybe just telling people you can't afford to live here, and
it's tough. You also can't say that because then people get very offended.
I know, I felt weird just saying it, man. But at the end of the day, you make a good point. Irvine's fucking expensive, bro. Not even just like the housing, but the cost of living out here. There's just, you also have liquor stores out here. It's like
and it's tough too because we've got a lot of students in Irvine, and the biggest push is like we can't afford to live here. And I'm like, and what I pitched during my campaign is like, look, you guys are trying to pitch affordable housing, but you know what's going to happen? It's going to keep you stuck exactly where you're at. Do you really want to? You're in UC, that's a lot of UCI students. Like, do you want to spend your college career spending 100, 200, 250 grand on your college education to make enough to qualify for affordable housing? Is that why you're here? So you can use a government program to afford housing? Or are you here to put you in a place where you can generate enough income where you can buy your own home? You can own it. You don't need government aid. Why are you here? If you're here for affordable housing, why even go to UCI? Why not go to a random no-name community college and then just use the affordable housing and get that? The point of higher education is to get to a higher place in life. And so I don't want to fight for affordable housing so you can be complacent, stay where you are. I want to fight so that you have better opportunities to make more money, make a better life for yourself, to give you better education, open more doors for you, and you can make your own life. You don't have to rely on the government.
Yeah.
I don't want you to need the government. I want the government to be as less involved in your life as possible. I want you to be able to live your own life.
Yeah.
And that's what I pitched. And nobody's pitched that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then when they heard it, they're like, oh my gosh, that's, you know what, you're right. You know, instead of, I can't afford it, let's figure out how we can put you in a place so you can afford it. Not just give it to you. That's different. You know, that's better long-term sustainability. I don't want you to get cheap housing. I want you to own the housing. And everybody's capable of it. It's just, we've got to be able to set it up so that you can.
Yeah.
That's what I want, personally.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to push. But it's not a popular thing. But when I talk to students one-on-one and I talk to them like that, I'm like, would you rather get a free program and just get cheap rent in Irvine for the rest of life? Or would you rather me fight for you and give you a lane so that you can make enough to own your own home in Irvine? What would you rather have? Hey, George.
What's up, George? I like the glasses.
You know, and when I'm able to talk to students or people directly like that, they're like, you know what, you're freaking right. Nobody's ever talked to me like that. I was like, I don't want to limit you. I want to break your limits. You know, I don't want to coddle you. I want to freaking help you grow.
Yeah.
And the same thing in here. Can you imagine if I was like, hey, I know you want to be a fighter, but I'm only going to allow you to fight fighters with a massive losing record. They need to have 50% loss ratio.
Oh, shit.
You know, because I don't ever want you to lose.
Yeah.
I don't ever want you to lose because it freaking sucks. That's not cool.
Yeah.
You know? No, I want to be like, no, I want to push you. I want you to be better. You want to be a champion? Then I'm going to give you hard challenges so that you can be a world champion. That's different.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what I want for people that are just going to school or trying to get a job or trying to make a career. It's the same freaking crap. It's the same analogy. It's like 1-to-1 ratio. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I want people to be complacent. If you want to grow, I want to help you grow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're fighting or not fighting. If you're in business, school, you want to be a teacher, you want to be an artist, it's all the same. You want to be greater, then let's help you get there. But I don't want to help you just be stuck in this place forever. Because like, hey, if you get an affordable housing unit in Irvine for $200, you're not very incentivized to get better. You're gonna chill there for a while.
It almost feels like when it comes to like affordable housing for some place like Irvine, it might be better to just be like, if you work here, you go to school here, we'll give you money, but you're gonna have to live somewhere else that's more affordable. You know, like in Santa Ana or somewhere on the Garden Grove.
You know, I'd rather you build your network, get your education in, and do so well that a company pays for you to live somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, that's the game I'd rather have. That sounds way cooler, and it's totally doable. We have huge corporations here. Like a lot of pharmaceuticals. Yeah, dude, you build your value high enough, they'll pay for your place to live. They'll pay for room and board. You know, it is a thing. But nobody's pitching that. They're pitching, no, poor you. Let's just give you affordable housing. I'm like, how's that going to make you better?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Not a fact.
It's a complicated situation, bro. No matter what your answer is, you're always going to offend someone, bro.
Exactly. Everybody's going to offend it.
I have a very extreme take on homelessness that nobody's ever going to like, but this is my quick way of getting rid of it. I think you should force homeless people to either go into some type of housing paid for by the state, you know, which is going to drug test you, right? Which is going to make sure that you're on the right track to get some type of career, whether it's a regular job at a 7-Eleven, who cares, right? Or go to jail. That's what I'm going to offer.
Very extreme, yeah. I'd be down for that, except for the jail part. I mean, to be honest, like if I were to be homeless, like I would be okay.
Jail, right?
Like actually, technically, if I had no responsibilities or family or anything like that, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, go to jail, baby. Because the reason I bring that up is because look, they built that in Skid Row. They bought that hotel, right? It was the Cecil, right? That they bought out. They converted it here too. They converted it into a homeless shelter that's empty because no one is pissing clean, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's part of the thing is if you're gonna go to some type of government staying shelter or government paid shelter, you have to piss clean.
Yeah, they ain't trying to get clean, and even the homelessness, they get money from the local state or government. They get a cell phone and they're chilling. When I surveyed the homeless, I disturbed them watching YouTube.
Crazy, huh?
I was like, oh shoot.
That's crazy, bro. That's where money's going towards. Look, I got no problem with the homeless man. I told you off camera,
people.
Bro. I was raised very, my mom didn't have a lot of money, single parent, no child support, none of that, bro. We were, poor, right? So I got nothing against homeless people, but it's like, dude, my mom fucking was trying. She wasn't on drugs, bro. She did her shit. She was a nuisance to the public. I see some of these homeless people that they're like all methed out, and that shit's fucking alarming because I'm like, you're making me feel nervous, bro.
Yeah, but it's not. We're categorizing them. There's different situations.
Yeah, right. Like you said,
there are some people that are abusing their situation, but there's some people that truly need help and support. That's where these government programs come in, right?
Where it becomes difficult.
But as an individual, like, to be honest, cool, my taxes go towards government programs, stuff like that. I'd rather fund my own community service, which I do, knowing where my money's going, and I know that I have firsthand experience of exactly how it's being utilized.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to help the senior citizens, started a freaking nonprofit.
Yeah.
I've taught 8,000 senior citizens in the past 5 years in person, and every single one has gone from fear to confidence in an hour's time. And that's freaking dope for me. I love that.
Yeah.
If I would have put that time and effort into something else where I didn't have firsthand control, I don't think that would have happened.
Yeah.
So.
So what's next for you, Ron? I know you got a fight coming up soon, right? Supposedly. We're not exactly sure.
I'm supposed to defend my my WCK title, but I'm being a bit of a diva. My apologies, Dennis. Life is a bit crazy right now, so it's really hard for me to take 3 months out to focus on trying to defend my title. And so I told him, Dennis, I request to either have my title defense in Vegas or in Irvine.
I'll make it close, easy. Yeah. Is there where in Irvine will they do it?
Probably in the Great Park, but the challenge with Irvine is I gotta help put that together because we've never ran a WCK show in Irvine.
Right here, baby.
Yeah. So I can help with it, but I'm gonna have to be part promoter. I'm gonna have to be part of the promotion team.
I think you gotta go full Republican and take some money on the side, to make this do happen. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We don't do that.
Cut that out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now in politics, I'm a super public guy.
Yeah.
So people are watching everything that I do. But luckily, I'm proud of everything that I do, so I have nothing to hide. And I think that's why a lot of voters gravitated towards me, because I'm super transparent. I'll say things that everybody won't agree with, but it's my opinion. It's my take on things, Just like this podcast, like, people are going to find it, and they may pull some clips and try to spin it and stuff like that.
I hate that. But do that, bro.
It's life, but I'll always hear people out and always give people a chance to let me hear my piece and hear their piece. So, and if they agree with it, cool. If they don't, then they don't.
Nope.
It's life.
All right. It is what it is. So you got maybe 3 months, possibly WCK, Las Vegas or Irvine?
Las Vegas. I'm hoping for Las Vegas. It was supposed to be in May, but I haven't got any updates yet. So, and I still got a bunch of weight to lose. And so I'm hoping for a 2-3 month lead time, so I can start focusing on this title fight. But I should be defending it this year, defending the WCK World Title.
The World Title. There's a big difference, people, other than a national title. So you got that. How long are you going to be commissioner for? Is there like do you have to vacate that by a certain time or something?
Yeah, there's a term limit. I think as long as I think I got it for 2 or 4 years. I forget. Either another 2 or 4 years, but I may be running for city council again in 2 years.
Is that higher than mayor, or is that?
Nope. So there's a city council and mayor. They're all kind of the same, except the mayor leads the city council.
Oh.
And then right under the city council is the commissioners.
Okay.
And then right under the commissioners are committees.
Got it.
And so the council members and the mayor work together to make decisions that'll impact the city.
Got you. Are you planning on doing another run for the mayor eventually?
We'll see. I mean, I ran for the mayor because it was the only thing available at the time, and I was like, I don't want to wait. I want to do this now. Mayor? Okay, let's do it. Why not? I didn't know what it entailed, and now that I'm in it, I'm like, oh shoot, that was a big freaking role.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad I didn't get it, but it was cool as I got a lot of name ID and I got my foot in the door, and like people got to see what I was about and what I was able to deliver, and so I'm glad I did it because it opened up the door for me to be deep into politics like I am now. But in a positive way. I want to change the the connotation of politics. Like it gets such a negative connotation, and I want to switch it and I want to make it positive.
Make it fun.
Make it fun. Make it
politics fun again.
Yeah, make it fun and then make it inspiring. You know, I'm really proud to say that I've gotten a few friends into politics too as well. And now they want to be on committees, they want to be on commissions, they want to run for office, they want to make a difference for their community and all the things that they want to push. And I'm really, really proud to see that. I'm influencing my friends to get in politics too.
So I'm very passionate about it, man. To see seeing how you smile when you talk about it.
We're doing a wave. We're creating a massive wave of people wanting to change our communities for the better. And the best way to do it is to do it within your own government.
Very true.
It's freaking crazy. Like I work together with James Mai, and we're waiving business registration fees for small businesses trying to open up.
That's
one of the hardest ways to open a business is cost.
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to waive that for them.
Yeah.
And that gives them a better chance of getting in the door and helping their business dreams come true.
American dream, baby.
Yeah, the American dream. We want more businesses to open in Irvine. We want more businesses to succeed in Irvine. You know, we want more people to buy homes in Irvine. We want everybody to win here. You know, and then we want that to spread to all the other cities.
Yeah.
And then if Irvine can do it, everybody else can do it.
We take over the world. Yeah, bro.
Just make the world better.
Okay. With love.
That's all we want. That's all we want.
Right.
We just want improvements.
All right.
You know, I want a world for my kid to thrive and succeed in.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody else's kid.
I think a lot of people do. Ron Scolesdang. Oh, how do you pronounce it? Is it ŌKA?
ŌKA.
Is that like a asterisk on top or what?
It's
Japanese or something?
Yeah, it's completely Japanese. Japanese for live your life.
Oh wow.
Live your life. Yeah.
Oh, now I get that joke you said earlier at the beginning of the interview when you're like, live your life.
Oh.
The little phrase that I just thought it was just a phrase, and now it makes sense because of the gym. Oh,
Yes, live your life, and the name it's broad enough where as we start opening up other business avenues, it's going to be under the ŌKA brand. So we're going to be launching ŌKA supplements. We're going to be making ŌKA gear. We're going to be making our own equipment. We're going to start ŌKA Fit Club, which is the personal training studio for that celebrity trainer Peter that trains Halle Berry. And then we're going to do ŌKA wipes.
ŌKA wipes,
Yeah.
like for your gloves and stuff, or for when you go poop and stuff?
For combat sports wipes.
Okay.
Yep. So there's a few out there, but they're not marketed very well, and they're not natural. So they're actually not good for your skin at all because they're all chemically derived.
I never thought about looking at what's in there, bro.
Exactly. Everyone just Lysol, Clorox.
Yeah.
And it's so bad for your
thought
skin
about that, bro.
and for leather. It breaks down the material. So we've developed an all natural that we sent to a lab that is actually effective at disinfecting and deodorizing, and we're gonna push out, so that'll be ŌKA wipes.
ŌKA wipes. Do you have a release date on that?
This year, we're moving hard. I'm hoping to launch all of that in 3 months.
Oh wow, you have to
so
go
we're
hard
going
on everything, bro.
We're going hard.
Is everything in a 3-month segment with you or something, or what?
We move fast.
90 days, bro. Gotta get it done.
90 days. 90 days hard.
All right. So you got ŌKA going. You got the city council. Got a fight coming up in WCK. You're staying busy. I mean, dude, what else you got going on? Is that it?
Yeah. I mean, other than that,
Like, can't even fit anything else, bro. You know?
Yeah, just running around everywhere.
How do you have time for your family, bro?
In between, or I bring them here, or I bring them with me. Sometimes, or a lot of times, I bring them with the event. Like we just picked up. Oh no, I didn't have time to. I was gonna. We got into cars. Well, we've always been in cars, but we got our dream car, which is this thing called a G80 M3. It's like a new generation M3.
Okay.
So Coach Dyson, that's Coach Dyson, my partner.
Oh, what's up, bro?
And we had an opportunity to get it, and it wasn't just any M3. It was built by this company called Vorsteiner, and this company builds custom wheels and carbon fiber parts. So we ended up having them build this whole car, and they built everything from the ground up, from the tuning to these wheels to every carbon fiber part. The car is nuts.
Sounds expensive, man.
Oh yeah, it's freaking nuts. We just put a new fully carbon fiber bumper on the front, perfect fitment. Their thing is if BMW were to make an aggressive version of their car, what would it look like? And this is their rendition of what the car would have looked like if they made an aggressive version.
Yeah.
And it's aggressive. It's freaking sick.
Oh, you gotta show me.
Oh yeah, I'll show you. We just picked it up yesterday. We just picked it up yesterday. It's freaking sick.
Yeah.
Maybe we give them a shout out, Vorsteiner.
Give a shout out, Vorsteiner.
Yeah, we are huge Vorsteiner fans. It's our freaking dream car.
That's sick, dude.
Next one is a Gallardo.
Gallardo.
Yeah,
Dang.
I like older cars. The BMW is more for my wife, but the Gallardo is next on my list. An LP 560 gated.
Nice.
But not anytime soon. That's
3
for
months.
later.
90 days, baby. Let's go.
Other things to worry about first. We're happy with the M3.
All right. And then you got your KO Towing, shout out KO Towing.
Yeah,
Any other businesses? Lace and
Loop, ŌKA Kickboxing, ŌKA Everything. And also part of a company called Plug Play.
I saw, dude. I was wondering about that. Wait, so do you partake or?
No,
Okay.
but I know how to build businesses and grow them, and so they're having me help grow They started a new line for hemp, which is legal in a lot of states, and so I'm helping build their team so that they grow. And 100 days in, we've netted over $500,000 in revenue.
Damn. I work in the cannabis industry, so I do cultivation. So I've been growing.
Funny.
Yeah, I've been growing for like 7 years. So that's why I had noticed that brown around you, but I was like, I don't think he smokes or anything. Like, what's going on here, bro?
No, but I understand the business aspect of it, and for me, as long as it's legal, then I'm okay with it. If it's not, then I'm hands off. But I like the idea of being able to do wire transfers, having a paper trail, sending it through like UPS, and having no issues.
Cash
yeah,
stuff.
so it's just like any other business. I just ship it and send it, and I build a brand, and it's growing.
Yeah.
Also involved in another company called Sampar Beauty. So they do. They're from France. They do skincare products. So shout out to Sampar. That's my wife is taking that over and leading that.
Yeah.
And so that'll be cool. I'm really excited to launch that and bring that to America.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Sick.
Yeah.
How do you feel about students getting high in training?
I've gotten high a few times. I don't know how they do it. More power to them. I don't see it performance enhancing at all. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how the Diaz brothers do it. It is, for me, debilitating.
Yeah.
I like being in control, and I think that's the reason why I don't like smoking anything like that, because I feel out of control. And so that's why it's not. And now I have complete access to it, of mountains of it, but I don't.
You don't partake?
I don't partake.
I smoke religiously, bro. I've been smoking for like a long time, dude.
It's 90% of our population.
Yeah.
Everybody smokes.
If I'm at the gym, I'm always getting. But like when I first started training, I always told people that if they want to smoke and go train and learn how to fight, I'm like, dude, your first like year or two, don't fucking show up at the gym high, because you're here to learn. Once you start figuring the basic style, once you have your own style and you know the technique, then go ahead and get high. Maybe
I feel like it's a handicap.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't make you fight better.
Makes you slower but more creative.
Yeah, true.
I feel like I'm like more slower, but I'm like able to just do things without thinking about it. And for me, a lot of the times I need to be slower. It's like I talk fast, so I think fast,
See, I'm already slow.
You need something to bring you up, dog.
Shoot.
All right, well, Ron, it was nice meeting you. I really appreciate you doing this, dude. Good luck to all your businesses, dude. You want to link your IG, anything?
Oh, yeah. At Scolesdang, at all the handles, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, it's all the same. What else we got? We got at Plug Play Hemp. We got at ŌKA Kickboxing Club, all social media handles. At Sampar Beauty. At KO Towing and Recovery. What else? At Lace and Loop. I already said that.
Yep. I'll put those on the bio too, but it's always nice to say it verbally. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Woo.